What is up, sacred family? My name is Jose Rivera, also known as Jose Luis. And like the title suggests, today we are going to talk about my 21-day fast. Now, if you are looking to do a water fast, I know it's a huge fad right now. You're definitely going to want to watch this video and watch the whole thing through. I'll be going through what happened to me spiritually, mentally, and physically. Quick disclaimer, I am not a medical professional. This is not medical advice. Do your own research. I definitely encourage you to do your own research and consult with a doctor prior to going on a fast, and make sure to have medical supervision throughout your fast, because that's something I did not do. And man, it really cost me. A year prior to my 21-day fast, I had actually done a 10-day water fast. And prior to that, I had done 72-hour extended fast. That's the thing, when I was watching fasting videos and extended fasting videos, I really didn't hear often is like fasting is like a muscle that you develop, you know? And so it takes trial and error. You have to mentally get tough enough by doing it over and over and over again so you can sustain longer periods. 2024, I ended up doing a 10-day water fast, and it was like incredible. I felt so connected to the Most High. I could hear him very clearly. I just never experienced anything like it. Throughout that following year, all of 2025, I was trying to do extended fasts over and over and over again and failing. I wouldn't make it past 9 hours. I wouldn't make it past 12 hours. I had really made food an idol. And that's the easy thing to do. It's easy to make food an idol. It's absolutely easy to make food an idol. And so I really felt like I was drifting further away from the Most High because I was just going through so much in 2025. I felt as if I was not in a position to talk to anyone about God, about Yahuwah. I felt like I almost like felt like I lost authority to be able to speak about him. So fast forward to my 21-day fast. I really wanted to do a 40-day fast. I wanted to completely consecrate myself. And there were things that I noticed in terms of the three people in the Bible who did the 40-day fast, which were Moses first, then Elijah, then Yahusha. So those three people all fasted for 40 days. But one thing that I realized that they had in common was they were all pretty much in the wilderness. They were very much secluded from the world. They were by themselves within those fasting times. And it just so happened that my wife was actually visiting family while I was fasting. So I had the perfect opportunity. And aside from that, I had grown very dependent on AI. Like I've been using AI because I was working in the tech world where it was just like like AI is a part of everything. And so that was one of the things that really helped me out is I programmed my Claude, my ChatGPT, all of my AI tools. I programmed them to not allow me to ask them anything throughout the fasting period. It had to be just me and the Bible, the Most High, and his word, and that was it. I was not allowed. The only caveat was in the event that I felt as if I needed help in terms of like there was a medical emergency or anything of that nature, like needing medical advice, that's when I would go to like Claude, and I think I did that twice. I did that twice just to make sure that what I was feeling and what I was doing was accurate, because I had to make sure I had the right electrolytes, and I'll go through all of that throughout the video. So boom. The 21-day fast. It was crazy. Like I literally experienced real spiritual warfare. I learned so much about myself. I learned so much about the Most High. And I dropped 33.6 pounds within 21 days. Yeah. You know what I mean? I gained back about 15 of those pounds because it's just like water weight and, glycogen storages, all that fancy medical stuff. But one of the things that was driving me to do an extended fast was I have been overweight for over a decade. So throughout all of my 20s, I was overweight. And this was something that stemmed deep, deep from my childhood. The sin of gluttony has been something that's been in my family and attached to my family. It's a generational thing. And so I wanted to completely kill it. I wanted to completely kill the spirit of lust. And so that was the thing that I just wanted to eliminate that from me. I wanted to kill all the negative generational curses that were instilled in me, that I witnessed since I was a young boy. And that's the reason why I wanted to do a 40-day fast. And like I said, I tried throughout my whole 2025. I would fast, and then I'd be a little depressed, I'd be a little anxious, and I'd eat. I'd try to fast, like a couple of hours would go by, maybe a day will go by. The most I think I did was a day. And it was just very difficult. And so I did not have the discipline. That was another thing that was very different from my 10-day fast to my 21-day fast, is I'd been meditating for months prior to doing the 10-day fast. And it's like, your body serves your mind serves your soul, and your soul serves Yahuwah. So my mind was all messed up. My body was messed up. I was really big. I was like 335 pounds at my highest in 2025, which was very, very hard to deal with, because throughout that year, I gained a lot of weight. I mean, I went from like 270 to 335. So I gained a lot of weight. And there was just so much uncertainty behind my job, behind my living conditions, all these different things. And so finally, I was able to do the 21-day fast, right? So what I did was I ended up completely reprogramming my brain. Instead of eating food, I ended up reading 3 specific verses from the Bible. That's what I had for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I literally turned the word into my daily bread. The first verse was Exodus 34:28. Moses ends up fasting with Yahuwah for 40 days. When he comes down, his face is shining, and he comes down with the law. He came down with the commandments, right? That was breakfast. The second one was 1 Kings 19:8, where Elijah fasted for 40 days, and he came back with understanding. It gave him preparation for the mission that was ahead. And the last one was Matthew 4-2, where Yahusha fasted for 40 days. And when he came down, he started his ministry. Another thing that I did was I put scriptures as well as personal notes to myself throughout my whole house. I had one right next to my bedside. I had one in the bathroom that helped me not masturbate, because I did not want to spill my seed at all. I also had 3 in the kitchen. I had one on the refrigerator. I had one inside the cabinet shelf, and then I had one at the door to exit. This was extremely helpful. I don't know if I would have made it as long on my fast if I did not do that. One other thing I would like to tell you is, listen, I'm a father, and I pick up my children on the weekends, and I have to cook for them. That might have been the hardest thing that I had to do, was cook for them while I was in that fasted state. There was these chips from Aldi's that I got for my son, and I smelt the bag, and I'm like, yo, I just want to eat one chip so bad, but I couldn't. And I want to break down what it was like the first couple of days. The truth about it is, with fasting, I'm a firm believer that if you can last over 72 hours, if you could get past 3 days, 4 days, you can do 40 days. And the reason I say that is because the first 3 days are the hardest. That's when your stomach really has authority over your mind. Your flesh feels like it has the authority over your spirit. And so it really takes strong willpower to get past that first 72 hours. If you haven't done a fast yet and you are medically cleared to do so, I would highly encourage you to do a 72-hour fast, because it will completely reset everything. It will reset your digestive system, reset everything. Oddly enough, when I did my 10-day fast, the hunger was gone after the 4th day. This time around, it was not. That hunger stayed with me until, I want to say, day 9, 10. That's when I started to okay, I'm not hungry. I'm not really hungry. When you're fasting for that long, you really get a understanding of physical hunger and food noise, mental noise. And it's not true hunger. It's more, actually, it's boredom. A lot of the time we eat because we're bored, and you get to really see the difference between the two. But for real, I lacked discipline, and fasting will show you that. It'll show you how you have been undisciplined. Now, by day 3 or 4 is when I started taking electrolytes. I took pink Himalayan salt, potassium, and magnesium when I went to sleep. And that was pretty much like my electrolyte cocktail that I had every single day. And I was doing it wrong. So initially I would put it in the water in the morning to just try to knock it out, get it over with, and I would just drink it good, 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 good. But that's not how you're supposed to do it. I didn't realize until day like 7, day 8, that you're actually supposed to sip that water throughout the day. And so I started sipping the water throughout the day. One thing about extended fasting that I've never really heard anybody talk about, but one of the reasons why you feel so connected to the Most High is because it's something you've never done before. Like you've never gone so that long without food. And so you don't know if you're going to die. Like you don't know if you're going to live or going to die. You just don't know, right? Like is a new experience. And man, like I literally would wake up in the morning. And when I pray, I usually put my head to the ground. I prostrate when I pray. So I would prostrate and I just felt just so powerful. I felt so connected to the Most High and also so very weak at the same time. And I want to tell y'all about that. Physically, I felt as if I was 500 pounds. My body weight was it was just so hard to carry. And, I live in the New Jersey area. I was commuting 10 hours a weekend one way to go pick up my daughter and my son because they live in different parts of New York. It was very difficult. Something as small as like walking up the steps in the subway just felt like excruciating because I felt like I was like 500 pounds. Which brings me to another very important thing. Prior to that fast, was dealing with crazy sciatica. Like I had a bad sciatica nerve pinch. Like I was playing ball through it and everything. I was playing basketball and I was really going through it for about 6 months. I just had really bad sciatica. By day 3, my sciatica was healed. It was completely healed. Even after gaining back the weight post fast, I still did not get the sciatica. Like the sciatica nerve pinch didn't come back, which is such a blessing. And I'm so grateful to the Most High for that. But yeah, that feeling of not knowing whether I'm going to live or die, I'm not going to make it through the next day. Like that's real when it comes to fasting. And I felt that when I did my initial 10-day fast, I had felt that by like day 3, day 4, it's like this fear creeps in. And then the faith comes in and kills it. But this time around, I ended up feeling that around day 11. Like I was good, but around day 11, I think it's also that idea of, hey, I've never done this before. So once I went past 10 days, that's when that feeling crept back in, and you're just online. And I was looking at different people's experiences, which is another thing that I would encourage you to do. Watch as many videos on fasting as possible. People who have done the fast that you're trying to do, like watch as much as possible so that you can have a firm understanding of how to do it in a healthy way. And also what I would like to say is spiritual warfare during an extended fast is real. It is so real. You know, I like to think of myself as pretty clean. Like I take pride in having a clean environment because cleanliness is godliness, right? Let my wife tell you it's not clean enough. The house still looks too lived in. So sure, whatever. But I try to think of myself as relatively clean. One of the things that happened throughout the fast is I was like super bored. Like eating takes so much mental capacity, like wondering what am I going to eat, the cooking preparation, just focusing on the next meal. I was always focused on the next meal. And so I had all this extra time. And throughout this time, I would mop my floors like 3 times a day. It was getting serious. Like the whole house smelled like fabuloso because it was just like, I don't know. It was like, I just had to everything had to be super clean. And so that was like one of the things that I experienced throughout the fast. was the desire to clean and make sure that the house was always spotless. But there was something that was happening that made me aware that I had monitoring spirits. And what it was out of nowhere, there were these gnats you know, and it's wintertime. So it's like, why are there gnats? I'm cleaning, I'm cleaning, I'm cleaning. Why are there gnats? And, you know, there were gnats everywhere. In every room, I would see gnats. I'd see gnats in the living room. I'd see gnats in the kitchen. I'd see gnats and it took me about a day or two to realize, oh, these are monitoring spirits. These were sent by the enemy. They see that I'm consecrating myself for the Most High and they don't like it. Let me tell you something. The enemy hates when you fast. He hates when you consecrate yourself. And the Most High loves when you fast. He loves when you deny the most cardinal temptation that we've had since the very beginning. You know, like Satan used food to trick Eve. When you overcome this, genuinely brings joy to the Most High. And I felt it. I really felt it. I felt his love and I felt his grace. And honestly, I'm kind of grateful for those monitoring spirits because they made me pray harder. You know, like it wasn't just the gnats. I felt presences around me. I felt dark presences around me. And I'm really thankful for the experience because it made me pray harder. I typically pray twice a day when I wake up in the morning or when I go to sleep. But I was praying like 5 times a day, 6 times a day, any moment that I had the opportunity. And a big part of the reason why I was doing that was for protection against those spirits. What I will say also is on a physical level and on a mental level, I had so much clarity. I felt very emotionally stable. It's only the first couple of days where you feel a bit emotionally unstable, but eventually, like, I started to gain that emotional clarity and stability. And so I was definitely monitoring my weight throughout the whole time. I was, you know, the first couple of days, like I dropped a lot of weight. I think within the first day, I dropped like 8 pounds. Then it just kept on going. I drop like 3 or 4 pounds next day, another 3 pounds the next day, another 4 pounds the next day. Like I dropped 33 pounds total. And I started to feel good. You know, I didn't work out throughout the time. I didn't want to like stress my body more than I was already stressing it. But as someone who's overweight and runs into that fear of like fatality, of this being fatal, I asked myself, and you have to ask yourself this because I know other people are probably dealing with this and deal with this, but you have to ask yourself, you know, you're already overweight. You already have a chance at fatality because of your health. So, like, what do you really have to lose by consecrating yourself and actually giving yourself a chance? And that mindset really allowed me to get through it. There were times I genuinely thought I was going to break, but after day 4, you really aren't you can't eat. You can't, like, I couldn't eat a cookie at day 14. You know, I couldn't eat a cookie at day 7 because by that point, I already you run into the risk of refeeding syndrome. And this is what I mean. Like, you have to do your research because a cookie could kill you at day 9. A cookie could kill you at day 10. Your digestive system has been shut down. You have to slowly reintroduce food. The general rule of thumb is 50% of the time. Like, if you go 10 days of not eating, you need about 5 days of refeeding. And what that looks like is taking in bone broth and fruit juice and things of that nature, and slowly incorporating foods back into your diet, not going full force, not going all out. So like, even though I would take my son to the pizzeria and I love pizza, you know, I'm from New York, like we love pizza. So that's on our actual food pyramid or whatever. I knew I couldn't eat pizza because it could kill me. Like I already knew that. So that made it a lot easier to keep on going. Which brings me to the end. Initially, I wanted to do 40 days of no food, just water. And I made it to day 18. And day 18 is when I started to experience a bit of health complications. That's when I decided to break my fast in terms of like liquids. I ended up drinking bone broth the last 3 days. I believe I wasn't taking in enough electrolytes, and and you do not want to mess with the electrolytes in your body, because that directly affects like your heart, your actual like organs. They need electrolytes. Like, you need sodium, potassium, magnesium. And I just don't think that, with all the information that I did receive, I don't think that I was actually getting enough electrolytes throughout the time. And so I ended up doing the bone broth, and I did that for the last 3 days of the fast. I want to say I made it to like 20 days and 20 hours. So I'm rounding it off to 21 days, whatever. But it was crucial that I stopped. It's important to just take care of your body. And like I said, I didn't have any medical professional monitoring me. I didn't truly like seek medical advice prior to the fast or anything of that nature. So I definitely intend to do a 40-day fast, but I don't know when. But one day in my life, I intend to do a 40-day fast. And another thing I want to mention about fasting is, in Matthew 6, it tells us that we aren't to tell anyone that we're fasting. The reason why we're not supposed to tell anyone that we're fasting is because, you know, you tell people, oh yeah, I'm fasting. It's like, oh, I bendito. Oh, poor thing. That is the reward that you get when you tell people that you're fasting. Whatever you do in private and you keep between the Most High and yourself, he rewards you publicly. And so I was, I didn't tell anybody I was fasting. I only mentioned it to my wife. Obviously, she knew I was fasting. My mom and my brother, around the tail end of the fast, I mentioned it to them just because I was around them and they were eating, and they were asking me, yo, you're not going to eat? Why are you not eating? Why are you not eating? That's what they had questions. So I just let them know, like, yeah, I'm good. I'm not hungry. I'm fasting, whatever the case is. And, just kept it pushing. And now I have to tell you about how my life has completely transformed after the fast. The month after my fast, I made more money than I had ever made in my life. Like, I just made more money than I ever made in my life. I was in this period of uncertainty. I literally lost my job. I honestly quietly quit. Like, I was done with my job. And another thing is, a couple of months prior, I created a nonprofit where, we drive into the Bronx with a food truck, and it's a mobile food pantry where we give people food. But one of the things that kept on like really that I really had in my mind that was eating away at me is like, yo, you want people to donate and to invest in your nonprofit and your cause, but you're overweight. That those two things don't mix. You want to feed people who haven't been eating, but you have been eating in excess. Like I felt that internally, and it really got to me mentally. And so that was another reason why I wanted to do this fast, is because people see you with their eyes before they see you with their ears a lot of the time. Me being overweight throughout my 20s, I lost so many opportunities. And, entering into 30, I'm just like, being in my 30s now, I want to be the ultimate reflection of the Most High. And how can people see the Most High's light inside of me when I'm 100 pounds overweight? They don't correlate. There are people who will condemn, homosexuals. There are people who condemn people who are in gangs, but they don't look at themselves. That's what that verse is talking about when it says, before you try to, take a splinter out of somebody else's eye, take the beam that's out of your eye. And that's one of the things, like, it was a lot of self-reflection that made me want to fast as well. And I'm still on my weight loss journey, but guess what? I'm going to accomplish my goal weight. I'm going to be exactly what it is that the Most High has called me to be, in terms of having his light inside of me and allowing people to see it. And I have that conviction. And whoa, let me tell you, after the fast, I literally had complete understanding of who I was and what I was meant to do. I created this auto suggestion that it really cemented into my identity. Like every day I would say it. And it was pretty much this: I am a man who has overcame everything that tried to destroy me by yielding to Yahuwah, who has transformed me into a mighty man of valor and anointed king with authority over his mission. My mission is to lead others to him through his only begotten son, Yahusha. I am also on a mission to feed the hungry and have unlimited physical and financial resources to do it all, because I have the ultimate resource in Yahuwah, who has transformed me. And, that's what I mean. Like that was, whew, it was profound once I really understood what my role on this earth is. And I genuinely believe that's the only way for someone to find it, is to consecrate themselves, to spend the time with the Most High, and to really learn who He is so they can learn who they are. I'm only know who I am because I know whose I am. And so if you are on your spiritual journey, your health journey, and you would like your spirit man to have authority over your flesh, I definitely encourage you to go for it. You can do it. You just have to develop the discipline. You have to spend time with the word. You have to meditate. These are things that I can't speak for the people that are in the world, but the people who are under the Most High and have allowed and given him authority over their lives, this is what's required to have a true relationship with the Most High. And so I'm rooting for you. I genuinely hope everyone who sees this video ends up, conquering every generational curse that they've come across, every generational curse that they've been dealing with, and develops a strong relationship with the Most High and is able to fast, because as believers, it's non-negotiable. We have to do it. I'm so grateful for you guys for watching this. If you did enjoy this video and would like to see more content like this, please like, comment, and subscribe. And until next time, stay blessed and highly favored.